In the winter of 1959, 9 hikers set off into the frozen Ural Mountains. These were highly certified survivalists. They carried top-tier gear, prepared for extreme conditions, and were navigating a punishing route toward Mount Otorten. But they never reached their final checkpoint. When days passed in total silence, the military deployed a massive search operation, sweeping across miles of brutal, freezing terrain. A team with this level of training knows how to survive. For 9 seasoned experts to die simultaneously, they had to encounter something sudden, overwhelming, and completely outside the realm of normal hazards. Searchers eventually found the campsite. The tent was still standing, partially buried in the snow, but completely shredded. Investigators quickly realized the heavy canvas hadn't been attacked from the outside. In a blind panic, the hikers used their own knives to slice right through the fabric to escape. Tracks in the snow showed the entire group stumbled out into the pitch-black darkness, facing temperatures 30 degrees below zero. They abandoned their heavy winter coats, their emergency supplies, and even their boots. Survival experts know that abandoning shelter in a blizzard without gear is a guaranteed death sentence. Whatever happened inside that tent terrified them enough to make the freezing wilderness look like the safer option. Rescuers found the first 2 victims nearly a mile away, huddled under a large pine tree. Autopsies confirmed they died exactly how you would expect: severe hypothermia. The rest of the group was discovered scattered across the slope over the next several months. Here, the physical evidence stops making sense. Several of them had sustained catastrophic trauma, including violently crushed ribs and a fractured skull. These impacts required massive force, similar to a high-speed car collision, yet autopsies found almost 0 external damage. There was no scrape, cut, or bruise on the skin covering those crushed bones. Investigators then noticed an even more disturbing detail. One of the female hikers, Ludmila Dubinina, was found missing her eyes and her tongue. Broken bones lacking bruises and perfectly targeted missing tissue caused rumors to explode. People speculated about Soviet acoustic weapons, rogue Yeti attacks, and extraterrestrial encounters. When the physical evidence of a crime scene directly contradicts itself, human logic breaks down. For over 60 years, investigators looked past natural causes because the injuries seemed biologically impossible. That changed recently. Researchers revisited the Dyatlov files using modern fluid dynamics software and high-resolution topographical data of the mountain. They found that the slope angle directly above the tent was steep enough to trigger a very specific, highly localized event: a slab avalanche. Unlike loose, powdery snow that tumbles down a hill, a slab avalanche is a massive, solid block of dense ice releasing all at once. It drops like a concrete ceiling, applying immense downward pressure. When hundreds of pounds of solid ice compress a human chest, the weight distributes evenly across the body. It compresses the flesh like a sponge, while snapping the rigid structures inside. The ribs completely shatter, but the skin remains entirely untorn. Suddenly, the destroyed tent makes logical sense. Pinned under a sudden block of ice and unable to dig through the collapsed entrance, the hikers used their knives to carve out an immediate exit. You don't need a Yeti or a secret weapon to break bones cleanly in the middle of the night. A rare, strictly natural mechanical force accounts for all the structural trauma. This leaves the missing soft tissue. While it sounds terrifying on paper, forensic experts seek a specific pattern of decay frequently. The hikers found missing their eyes and tongues were submerged in a small stream that formed under the snow. Over several months, running water and small scavenging animals efficiently clear away exposed soft tissue. The loss was a direct result of natural exposure, ruling out any deliberate attack. We can finally piece together their last moments. The 9 hikers survived the immediate crush of the ice block, clawed their way out of the suffocating darkness, and ran. But they were severely wounded, suffering from concussions and internal bleeding. Blinded by a blizzard and freezing in the open air, they quickly lost their bearings. By the time they realized they couldn't survive the cold, they couldn't find the tent again. The Dyatlov Pass Incident endured as a mystery because the physical aftermath looked utterly alien. In reality, the raw physics of an avalanche and a single wrong turn in the dark are all it takes to turn absolute experts into an enduring tragedy.